I'm Karam, the battle-tested lawyer. I'm a business mentor for entrepreneurs. I'm a former 20-year courtroom lawyer, but before I was fighting cases, I was fighting for respect on the basketball court. Basketball wasn't just a game for me. It was my way of dealing with bullies. And later, I'd learned it was my way of winning in business. So here's what we're covering today. First, I'm going to share with you 3 mindset shifts that basketball taught me that school could never, about competition, earning your victories, and why there are no participation trophies in the real world. Second, I'm gonna break down the 3 basketball fundamentals that translate directly into business success and most entrepreneurs completely miss. And third, I'm gonna show you 3 defensive principles from basketball that became the foundation of everything I've built in law and business. So I've been playing basketball since I was a kid, and my first dream was to make the NBA. And it was my mother who actually taught me how to play basketball. I used to go down to the playground and I'd get made fun of by all the other kids because it was my mom who was showing me how to shoot, not my dad. She showed me how to dribble, how to play defense. She could shoot left-handed, and that's why I can shoot left-handed today, although I'm a righty. Now those kids laughed at me, but that motivation to prove them wrong, to turn their criticism into fuel, taught me how to embrace being underestimated and turned it into winning. So this isn't about legal cases or courtroom stories. This is about the game that taught me how to win and why every entrepreneur needs to find their own version of basketball to develop the championship mindset that matters most in business. So I'm going to start with the 3 mindset shifts that basketball gave me early on in my life. Mindset shift number 1 is you have to earn your trophies. Michael Jordan said it best. I've missed more than 9,000 shots in my career. I've lost almost 300 games. 26 times I've been trusted to take the game-winning shot, and I missed. I failed over and over again in my life, and that is why I succeed. Michael Jordan took accountability for himself, and there are no participation trophies on the basketball court. You either win or you lose. You either make the shot or you miss. You either stop your opponent or they score on you. The scoreboard doesn't care about your feelings, your effort, your intentions. They only care about your results. School teaches you otherwise. They teach you that everyone gets a trophy, that effort matters more than results, that you can succeed just by showing up and following the rules, but that's not reality. Reality is basketball, business is basketball, not school. Your competitors don't care how hard you tried. Customers don't care about your good intentions. The market doesn't give you points for participation. Remember that. Mindset shift number 2. Offense sells tickets, defense wins championships. That was Paul Bear Bryant, the legendary Alabama coach. Took me a couple losses the hard way to learn this one. I was a natural shooter. I could shoot, I could put points on the board, threes, I could dribble right, left, do spins, all that stuff, but I didn't win my first one-on-one championship the first time. I should have, but I didn't. And that's when I learned that defense wasn't just about stopping your opponent. Defense was about studying your opponent, anticipating their moves, understanding their weaknesses, positioning yourself to win before the game even starts. And when you get a defensive stop, you actually get the ball back. You get opportunities to score. So defense actually creates offense. In business, when you protect what you're building, you're creating opportunities to grow what you're building and other opportunities from that. Now, mindset shift number 3 is that pressure reveals who you really are and gives you the chance to shine. Everything negative, pressure and challenges is all an opportunity for me to rise. That was Kobe Bryant, and basketball taught me how to perform when everything was on the line, when mistakes have consequences, when everyone's watching. The players who succeed weren't necessarily the most talented. They're the ones who can execute under pressure, who can make the right decisions when it matters most, who can stay calm when chaos is happening around them. And that's something I've learned in yoga as well, and that's another video, but business puts you in the same kind of pressure. So now there's 3 fundamentals that translate directly into business success. And here they are directly from gurus' mouths, not mine. Fundamental number 1 is that preparation is going to beat talent every single time. Gary Vee says that skills are cheap, passion is priceless. But I'll add that preparation is what makes passion profitable. So I've seen incredibly talented players lose to less skilled teams that were just simply better prepared. A team that studied film, practiced their plays, knew their opponent's tendencies, had a system, had a game plan, always had the advantage over the team that just relied upon individual talent. So in business, preparation means you have your legal foundation solid, your contracts legally bulletproof, your systems ready for attacks before they happen. Talent will get you in the game. Preparation is what wins. Trust me. Fundamental number 2, you have to respect your opponents. Warren Buffett says that risk comes from not knowing what you're doing. Better understand what you're up against before you make your move. The same in basketball, the same in business. Every team you play has something that can beat you if you're not prepared. Even the worst team in the league can beat you on any given night if you get overconfident and you don't prepare properly. So every entrepreneur has 5 enemies, and they make 101 deadly mistakes. They play in 7 danger zones. I've seen this over 20 years. So you have to always be vigilant on the court and in business, because the moment you think you're too good to lose is the moment you start making mistakes. And the more money you make, the more enemies you have. And fundamental number 3 is teamwork amplifies individual excellence. Tony Robbins says the quality of your life is the quality of your relationships. Basketball taught me how to read people, how to work with different personalities, how to deal with a coach I may not like, how to communicate under pressure, and how to trust others with the ball, although I may have thought I was the best one on the court. So you can't win championships alone, even if you're the most talented player on the court. Business requires the same mentality. Someone needs to check your ego. You can't build a company alone, and you can't succeed without underestimating how to work with people who have different strengths and motivations than you. Now, finally, here are the 3 defensive principles from basketball that became the foundation for everything I've built in both law and business. So defensive principle number 1 is know your assignments. Know what you're good at, know your roles, know your responsibilities. That means on the court in basketball, every player has a specific defensive assignment. You know who you're guarding, you know their tendencies, you know how they like to score, and you know how to stop them. The same has to go for business. You need to know the 5 enemies, your customers, your competitors, your challengers, the cops, the regulators, your crown, that's the ego. Each one requires a different defensive strategy. But you need to know all 5 and have the systems to defend against all 5. Now, defensive principle number 2 is that help defense wins championships. Great defensive teams don't just guard their own man. They help their teammates when they get beaten. They communicate, they rotate, they support each other. In business, you can't defend everything yourself. You need lawyers for legal defense. You need accountants for financial defense. You need advisors for strategic defense. You need a team of people who can help defend what you're building when you get overwhelmed or outmatched, or when you're focusing on branding and all the offensive stuff you like to do. Now, defensive principle number 3 is that defense has to be a daily practice. The best defensive players practice their footwork, their positioning, their communication, every single day. They don't wait until game day to figure it all out, how to play defense. In business, legal protection, risk management, and defensive systems need to be routine. You practice your fundamentals when things are going well, so you're ready when things go wrong. Now, basketball taught me something that school never could: how to lose and how to actually learn from it. Because in school, failure is something to avoid. In basketball, losing is how you win. Every loss teaches you something about your weaknesses, your preparation, or your opponents. I've learned more from games that I've lost than games I've won, because losses force you to examine what went wrong and fix it. Now, the same goes for business. If you're an entrepreneur, find your basketball. Find the competitive environment that teaches you the real world skills, that puts you under that real world pressure and gives you the real world consequences. Because when you're building a business, you need more than classroom knowledge. That really means nothing, to be honest. You need a championship mindset. And that only comes from environments where winning and losing actually matter. And just like championship basketball teams need a battle-tested coach who's seen the pain, who's experienced the failures, who can help the players navigate the pressure when everything's on the line, entrepreneurs like you need that same kind of guidance in your business. Someone who's been in the trenches, who's actually fought the battles, who understands what it takes to build something that lasts, that can be there to support you. That's what we do in the Legally Bulletproof System. We help entrepreneurs develop the championship mindset and defensive fundamentals that separates the winners from the losers and everyone else who's just hoping to get lucky. And the next step is learning about business power. How to get it, how to defend it, how to use it, based on Robert Greene's top 10 laws of power for entrepreneurs, which is the next video I'm recommending. Click below. I'll see you there, and let's get legally bulletproof.